Top story tonight, Secretary of State John Kerry testifies before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the Iran nuke deal. He's told by some senators he's been fleeced and bamboozled by this deal. Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Joining us right now from Washington, D.C., Congressman Cramer. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chris.
All right, there's been a lot of conversations about these inspections. Are we going to be able to go in there and actually do the inspections inside of Iran? It was actually acknowledged yesterday by National Security Advisor Susan Rice. There's been a couple of side deals, if you will. Who knows if you're going to get a chance to see those or not. But here's what I want to get at. Big conversation about, hey, are these inspections available 24/7, anytime, anywhere? Or is it 24 days? I want to share with you a soundbite from President Barack Obama. This is his morning presser from Tuesday, July 14th. When this thing was announced, he spoke that morning to ensure the people of Iran could hear what he had to say. Here's what he said about the inspections.
Because of this deal, we will, for the first time, be in a position to verify all of these commitments. That means this deal is not built on trust. It is built on verification. Inspectors will have 24/7 access to Iran's key nuclear facilities.
You heard it right there. He just said 24/7 access. Then in the afternoon, when he spoke to the American people, essentially, he said, so let's take the issue of 24 days. This has been, I think, swirling today, the notion that this is insufficient in terms of inspections. Now, keep in mind, first of all, that we will have 24/7 inspections of declared nuclear facilities. This is Tuesday, July 14th. On Sunday, Secretary Kerry and Secretary of Energy Moniz were on Face the Nation with host John Dickerson. He said, hey, Secretary, what's the deal with this anytime, anywhere inspections? Here's what Secretary Kerry had to say.
What happened, Mr. Secretary, with anytime, anywhere?
We never, this is a term that, honestly, I never heard in the 4 years that we were negotiating. It was not on the table. There's no such thing in arms control as anytime, anywhere. There isn't any nation in the world. None.
Congressman Cramer, I'm going to give you a chance to comment, but I think this is why people are so upset. These people treat us like we're a bunch of rubes. He's not listening to our president, or what do you say, Congressman?
Well, first of all, that was one of the fundamental requirements in a letter that I and 366 of my closest friends in the House of Representatives signed to the president as a condition of our support for the deal. They've already violated the most fundamental condition that we set forth. The 24 days, by the way, is sort of a minimum. By the time you go through the entire process, the appeals process, United Nations, and they're trying now to reassure us, Chris, that it doesn't matter how many days, because if they're hiding something, 24 days isn't enough to get rid of all the uranium, to get rid of all the evidence.
The heart of what I want to get at, look, this is a major, major deal. These people are still screaming death to America, death to Israel, saying we're going to get bombs anytime, anywhere. We've got a president that says twice the day of the deal it's going to be 24/7, and then we've got a Secretary of State that says, what? I've never heard about anytime, anywhere. I want to get to what is going on here that they feel it's okay to lie, or what I'm trying to get at, what's at the heart of this? Because clearly we're not idiots.
Clearly we are not, but I will tell you, I sat for 2 hours with John Kerry and Ernie Moniz and Jack Lew yesterday in a classified briefing, and they treat us as members of Congress like we're idiots. He lectures us, he points his finger at us, he flaps his gums and tells us we have to do this, extorts our support, suggesting that the whole thing will break apart. He even went so far as to say that other countries, we're dependent on other countries for our sanctions, and that they would violate them even if we kept them on. And the reality was, we got word from both Republican and Democratic members of the Armed Services Committee who said the French foreign minister told them as recently as this weekend that they would stick with the United States if, in fact, we kept our sanctions. So they're all listen, these guys want a legacy. John Kerry thinks he should probably thinks he should get a Nobel Peace Prize like Barack Obama got for getting elected. It's more about their legacy than it is about protecting the United States, and that's frankly frightening.
Well, and I've had you on several times, Congressman. I continue to have this conversation. This is nothing against you. It's about this position where I say, look, these guys are trying to make you irrelevant. They're trying to usurp your power. Again, this is Secretary Kerry on Face the Nation with John Dickerson. I want to share this with you because it stunned me when I heard this about, so what are we just going to have, a one world government now? John Dickerson asked him this. He says, look, if you don't get a majority in Congress for this deal, doesn't that undermine the deal? Secretary Kerry said this.
No, not in the least. I mean, they don't care over there whether it's a majority or a minority or whatever it is, as long as the deal is implemented. And that's what we care about.
No, they don't care over there, meaning Iran, whether there's a majority or minority, and because we want the deal implemented. And be honest with you, that's what we want, to get the deal implemented, he says. Again, what can you do as a congressman, you and the Senate, to do something to put some teeth into this deal and do what's best for America?
Well, what we'll do next, most likely, is, remember now the 60-day clock has begun. We all have a copy of the document, the final deal. We also have access to the classified information, how it would be verified, and how it is we know what we know. And then we'll have, no doubt, a motion that would represent a disapproval. It would be a resolution of disapproval. It will pass both the House and the Senate, I think, rather easily. Good chance it will pass with 2/3 majority even in the Senate. Now, the question becomes, would we be able to override a presidential veto? That remains to be seen, but I can tell you that things like catching the president and John Kerry, one of the two of them not telling us the truth, finding out that there are side deals that we had to learn about from somebody other than our own negotiators, the imposition of lifting the arms embargo, which was never part of the outline to begin with. These are all problems. Oh, by the way, letting the United Nations vote on it before the United States Congress. These are all problems not just for Republican members of Congress, but for Democratic members of Congress as well. So I wouldn't rule out a veto override, but it does. To get back to the other point, it does undermine the deal. Even if Barack Obama wants this thing so bad he's willing to veto it and by the skin of his teeth maintain it, he can probably do that. But I'm telling you that if you're Russia, if you're China, if you're our friends in France, if you're in the United Kingdom, you're not looking at this thing the same if you don't have the support of the United States Congress.
Congressman, two things quickly I want to get to. Number one is yesterday, I believe it was Tuesday actually, in the Energy Commerce Committee, you guys had a vote about putting into getting rid of the oil export ban, but you guys didn't put it in this bill, and now you're going to let Iran go export oil soon. Why not get it in there?
Well, because it wasn't part of this particular bill. This was more of an infrastructure bill. I would love to have had it in this bill, but this will be a bipartisan bill that will probably, well, it passed on a voice vote, as a matter of fact. It doesn't go far enough. The lifting of the export ban, there are 3 bills. All of them do basically the same thing, various jurisdictions. It'll be part of some vehicle that will pass yet this year. I expect the ban will be lifted before the end of the year.
Last question for you, and I want to kind of create an analogy here. I look at what this president, this administration is doing. This Iran nuke deal goes to the UN first. Congressman Kerry just said, I don't really care what Congress has to say about this. Looking back at the way this administration operates, they're now going to double down on more immigration policies for illegal aliens, with the sanctuary city stuff. They don't care. Seeing that now, how this administration operates, do you now regret your vote for voting yes on the TPA?
Well, I don't, because the TPA gives me more authority over trade deals, not less.
No, it gives you an up and down vote.
The president.
It gives you an up and down vote in this deal, and you guys, and if you don't have the numbers, it gives the president, hey, I'm going to go and, like people are saying now, I think it's Thailand, give them more rights to do sex trafficking.
Sure, but the president has that authority based on the Constitution. TPA gives some equal authority to the Congress of the United States to review deals, the public to review deals, and then to vote up or down. He's got a steep hill to climb to get a deal done. I can guarantee you that, because of TPA. Otherwise, he can go do deals. And I think, by the way, with that in mind, remember that even the Iran nuke deal is not a treaty. It's not a treaty. If Congress votes it down, while the president may still have a deal with Iran, the next president wouldn't have to.
All right, stay with us when we come back. Obviously, a huge uproar about Planned Parenthood allegedly illegally selling fetal parts, i.e. baby parts. We're going to discuss that right after this with Congressman Kevin Cramer.